don't, sleep with anybody on the couch, right? And I slept with somebody on the couch. Not with the malicious intent. I was just being selfish and inconsiderate. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Right.
And what made it worse was that, and this was really against my my code, right? What made it worse, and this had to be God, because I don't know how the hell. So I guess the girl left some marks and on the couch, and the next day she was on the couch. Now she knew she came over, so it wasn't like that was a big deal. She wasn't there, and she came upstairs, and I was like, so she was worked up, like she was about to cry, and I was like, Vidal, did you sleep with that girl on the couch? And immediately my brain went back to I was like, oh, shit. How the fuck this? Because I cleaned it. I'm like, now after the fact, I'm like, shit. But at the same time, I was like, is this worth? Okay, let me sit down and sleep with her. Like, if it was one of them things where it wouldn't impact him, because she was gonna leave within a week or so, we were gonna go our separate ways. I ended up taking it over, and I was like, whatever, right? And so when she came upstairs and was like, I lied initially, I was like, nah, of course not. I never. And as I'm lying, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm lying, because I'm like, you're lying. What the fuck? And then, like it took hours, because she was still worked up, like she didn't believe me. And then when I looked at her at the couch later, I was like, there's like the lightest of light on an area of the couch she doesn't even sit. I'm like, how in God's name you conclude that's what that, like, of all the things, like, it was such a, that's why I'm like, because it was a great thing that happened, because it really woke me up. But I mean, my style was never, even the women who know I'm with, I never lie about it. And so it felt like I cheated on her, even though we weren't together anymore. It was the first time I felt like, oh, I don't like this. And the next day, obviously, I confessed and said, you know what? And it was so hard. Not because of the thing I did, because I know there was no malicious intent in it, but because I was so ashamed that I lied. So I was like, I apologize. I'm sorry for the lie. And she's like, yeah, because, I mean, we've been together for many years and you've never... And I'm like thinking, yeah, like, why would it be after we broke up that I'm starting lying? Like, it makes no sense, right? But I was just so ashamed that I actually broke my word, which is just, if you know me, like, that is, it was like, I know she couldn't believe, like, she thought there's no way.
That gives me perspective on people in places, like, when they do, one, if they're not about integrity, to that regard, integrity, like telling the truth, lying to people. And, like, there's definitely, I feel like, to what you were saying, a code of just being at least a good human being level. Because I can identify with almost parallel the exact same shit. Having a conversation, being asked a question, and in the moment, lying.
Yeah. And then watching yourself lie.
It was 3 to 5 minutes for me. I couldn't last. I'm like, nah, because I'm aware I'm lying, and then I'm like, this is something that has to be managed. There's a reason I'm not in this. Like, no, I'm coming clean right now. Here it is. Okay, that's not the truth. Like, but that feeling of
was hell.
It was fucking surreal. Like, I'm lying right now. Why am I lying? Shit, I'm lying. But you gotta manage lies,
right? Yeah.
And it was at the point of the most freedom, the most honest, the most truth. Where it's like, the fuck am I lying for? Like, actually having me question for myself. Okay, nah, we gotta shake that shit off. Like, a couple of minutes. I'm like, nah, this don't even like. And I was even conscious to, I wonder, feminine, is she feeling how I'm feeling over here, thinking about I'm fucking lying and shit.
Because now you all in your feelings about the lie.
I'm like, nah, this ain't me. Put it down right now. Let's clean that up. But that's hearing that tells me there's genuinely a North Star, a moral compass for people that have no sense of this is not right.
There are people who, and I'm not talking about sociopaths who have a imbalanced chemical balance, whatever it is.
Right.
I'm talking about people who have that balance, still have that I don't give a fuck about you mentality.
Until
You know?
they get hurt. Or they just got
Even
hurt.
if they get hurt. Because if they get hurt, they're still going to blame somebody else. It's not about them. It's like, it's not my fault. You hurt me.
Hurting people hurt.
Yeah.
Hurting people hurt.
I think you can veer so far off the path willingly and, you know, cloud yourself with rationalizations and such.
That you can
But I don't-
you with that.
Well, yeah. I don't know if you can never. I don't know enough. I
Never
don't know.
never, but yeah.
I don't. I mean, just a general. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about that because you have some evil people that's come through this world. So you could argue.
I
that,
would think that you probably could, but you don't bother because, like you said, the longer you had held on to that lie, the more ashamed you would have been. The less likely you would have been to say it.
And then the rationalizations you had to come up with why.
As
Initially.
it's been too long now, or
Yeah.
da 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 da. You would have rationalized it. This is how come people can walk away from their kids, because at first it's a day or a week or a month, and it's like I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna, and then 2 years pass, and you're like, I don't want to go back now because I'm shamed.
Right. The shame and guilt. Mm-hmm. That's some other pucker to face as a man too, because thou shatter every. And this only goes for those who, somebody may be listening that is like, damn, I have a convo I need to have. Or
Yeah,
it could be with yourself. It's always with yourself first.